Welcome everybody to our Study Abroad info session. My name is Jorge Vieta and I'm one of the Study Abroad advisors at Baylor. I work specifically with all of our summer faculty-led programs. And then with me I have two of my colleagues, Cody Henderson, who works with our exchange programs, and then Bobby Lease with our global Baylor program. Do you want to introduce yourself any further?
Yeah, Cody Henderson. So like you said, I do exchange and affiliate programs. You guys will learn all about that here in a second. I'm actually going to head on out and set up a table session. So if any of you guys are going to go do that afterwards, I'll be there. You guys could ask me any study abroad questions. These two will join me afterwards, but hopefully we'll see some of you there.
It's important to know Cody, because she's the one that you'll actually work with the entire time.
Yeah.
Transcripts, classes, housing, all that stuff. We just talk lofty up here, but she's the one that does all the work, so she's the one to know.
That's not true. They do work too. But I'll see you guys soon.
So the first thing that we're going to get to is what is study abroad. So as you can probably kind of imagine just from the two-word name of what our programming is going to be about, it's an opportunity for you to combine your academic experiences with your travel with a heavy emphasis on the study part. So mom and dad, don't worry, it really is study abroad. And we worked very hard to make sure that it is study abroad. But it's an opportunity for you to combine your academics and your travel and kind of grow both globally and culturally while you're also taking some of the classes for your Baylor transcripts. So Baylor does have quite a few different types of study abroad programming, so we're going to get into that a little bit. But the first thing is why study abroad. So you are going to get the opportunity to travel. You're going to get the opportunity to learn a new language, take classes in a variety of universities around the world. But usually the thing that I like to tell students is if you want to study abroad, there's one thing that it's going to get you above all else, and it's going to help you with your career no matter where you choose to go after you graduate from Baylor. Because there's one statistic that I love, and it's that only 10% of students nationwide do study abroad. So whenever you do graduate and you're starting to apply for law schools, med schools, grad schools, jobs, literally anything you do after you graduate, just having that study abroad on your transcript, having it on your resume will set you apart from 90% of all applicants. So we're trying to give you that global competence. We're trying to get you to explore the world a little bit and set yourself apart. Aside from that, you are going to have the ability to hone your language skills. I always talk about my sister in these sessions. My sister went to Paris. Actually, Bobby helped her go to Paris. So she spent an entire semester there at the American University in Paris. She wanted to learn French. She didn't take a single French class while she was there. But when she did come back, she was speaking nearly perfect French. My parents went to go visit her for Thanksgiving, and they were surprised like how she felt like a local there just because she was able to get that immersed. You are able to make lifelong friends. She actually did just come back from a wedding, actually just before COVID. She had gone to a wedding for one of the girls that she met on the same program, so she got to go abroad again to go to a wedding. So make lifelong friendships, and like I said, it'll help you with your graduate placements, it'll help you with job placements, and a million things along the way, especially with those lifelong learning experiences. So. When can students study abroad? So at Baylor, we do have a policy that says that you can start studying abroad after you get 30 credit hours. Yesterday, I had a student that came up to me and said, well, I took a gajillion credit hours. I have AP tests. I have XYZ dual credits. And my first response to him was, that's great that you have 1 million of those AP credits. These are 30 credit hours that you need at Baylor. So if you do have credits that you transferred in, that's amazing, but you do have to have those 30 credit hours on Baylor's campus. And that's actually a pretty standard practice of pretty much every single university in the US, because we want you to become confident at the university before you go and travel abroad. But after that, you're eligible to start studying abroad during any one of our 4 terms. We have fall, spring, summer, and we just added a winter term. So there's 4 opportunities for you to go abroad. And then the other thing is that there's no limit on how many times you can go and study abroad. So I actually had a friend, Miss Thomas, who his sophomore year, and this was when I was an undergrad, so a long time ago, he decided to go on our Baylor in St. Andrews program. And when he came back, the faculty member asked him to help her recruit. He loved it so much that he wanted to help her recruit for the next year. So she said, hey, yeah, help me recruit for next year. So he spent about 2-3 weeks recruiting, and then he went back to her and said, yeah, I actually got another application for you, and it was his. So she thought it was going to be another student, but no, it was his. He recruited himself. So he went on the program yet again and came back for his senior year, and they said, yeah, you know what, why not? So he went a third time on this program. He recruited himself a second time. So then he graduated and went on. He's actually still in St. Andrews. He's now getting a PhD there, so he clearly loved Scotland. But there's no limit on how many times you can study abroad. I actually have a student that's going to be going on our Baylor in Maastricht program this fall, and instead of coming back home after that program ends, he's going to stay there and continue on our Baylor in St. Andrews program. And he's trying to see if he can work it out, and he'll stay over the summer. So there's truly no limit on how many times you can study abroad.
And I would add, too, that for some majors, international studies, international business, it benefits them to go abroad. I mean, just like Jorge's example, I've had students that have studied abroad 3 or 4 times. I had a student study abroad 4 times. When she graduated, she ended up doing her PhD at one of the universities she studied abroad in, and then she came back here. She's married now and lives here in Waco. So she went far. I mean, she went far, she went wide, and then, she still ended up coming back home in the end. So we do encourage you to find out early about your opportunities, because if you are thinking about international business, international studies, if you are doing something that has a strong component, if you want to minor in a language, you want to go early, because we'll talk about it in a minute, but everything is academically driven. So the farther you get in your degree plan, the smaller your choices become. You can't go anywhere unless you can get the academic credit you need to stay on track. So come early, freshman year, even though you can't go abroad that first year, find out what the plan is. Plans change, we know that. But find out what your original plan is, and then you start shooting for that. The students that go abroad 3 times, 4 times, they are the students that are in their freshman year. His sister Anna was in their freshman year. Even though she didn't go abroad freshman year, she said, I know what I want. I need to get this done. What do I need to do to prepare in advance? And we make that plan for you. So definitely come early. I like this slide because this shows all the different places that we can go. And I like it because this gets to change all the time. So when we have a student or a faculty come up to us and say, there's some work that we want to do in the Czech Republic, we have a connection, we have a relationship, part of our terrible, terrible job is we have to go over there and site visit it, find out where everything is in that area. And then once we kind of look at it, we meet with our partners, and then we come back, we talk to Baylor, it goes through a vetting process, and then it gets approved and we get to add another location. Now occasionally, locations have to come off, of course, but we like to look at this list and see year by year as it continues to grow. I mean, you can go to Germany, Ireland, Korea, North or South. I'm just kidding. You can't go to North Korea. You can go to South Korea. You can go to Poland, Thailand, Turkey. We love, so we keep it up there because this is our aspiration. But right now, we're not sending students to Turkey. But we are still bringing students in from Turkey. So we're very excited about that partnership, and we hope to have the opportunity to continue that soon. But this list does grow. Now, if you come to me and say, hey, there's not somewhere out there, I want to go somewhere that's not on that list, we'll work with you. That doesn't mean we're going to make it happen, because it has a huge process. Baylor goes through a big process, takes a year or longer, and sometimes that's not enough time for you. So we'll start with what we have, and then we'll go from there.
So Baylor does have 4 different types of study abroad programs. Like I said, I work with our faculty-led programs, which are our summer and winter programs. And these are our short-term programs. So you go for anywhere from 1 week all the way to about 6 weeks. Baylor has about 40 different programs that we have on our docket, but we usually send about 30 every year. And that's just because some programs like to alternate, so every even year, every odd year. But our faculty-led programs they range from very specific, so this one is specifically for nursing majors, to this one, it's literally any student in the university can apply, and it is open to everybody. So there's a faculty-led program truly for every single student, every single major. I had a couple of music majors that came up to me yesterday and said, hey, is there a program that I can go on? And I said, yes, absolutely. We do have a lot of programs that even teach core curriculum classes. So there truly is a class that will fit your degree plan. There's group semester programs, which are very similar to our faculty-led summer programs, but they are over a longer period of time. So you do go to one of our partner universities, being University of Maastricht, University of St. Andrews, and University College of Dublin. So that UCD, University College Dublin one, that one is actually one that we just created. We've been trying to send it for like 2 years now, but COVID keeps coming in the way. But that one's specifically for our pre-med students. We looked at the degree plan for our pre-med track, and we said, where can we send these students that will work specifically for them? And we came up with Dublin. We created this track specifically alongside our faculty members over in pre-med. And so yeah, we created a program specifically for pre-med students. So that's pre-med in Dublin. But on those group semester programs, you take a class from a Baylor faculty member that's going alongside with you, and then you get to take classes from that university there. So on your transcript, you do get Maastricht or you do get St. Andrews on there, both of which are, I believe they're both still on the top 50 universities worldwide. So
yeah, St. Andrews is just a phenomenal university. You could say that about any of them, but if you look it up, it is one of the premier universities. I mean, Baylor's a great school. That's what you say when you're about to say something contrary. No, but the St. Andrews faculty are the ones writing the textbooks that we're studying here often. And we always say to students, there are a lot of options. You go to St. Andrews when you want to go to St. Andrews, not when you want to go to Scotland. Because while you're at St. Andrews, you are very immersed in the academia there. If you want to just be in Scotland or the UK, there are other programs, but St. Andrews is an incredibly phenomenal experience for those students who are really pushing that academic envelope.
So, and do you want to talk about exchange and affiliate since you used to?
Yeah, so exchange and affiliates are exactly like the traditional exchange program. So we send students to a location for a semester or a year, and we usually bring students back from those locations as well for a semester or a year. And we call these independent programs. That doesn't mean alone. So for example, St. Louis University Madrid will probably send 25 students there every semester, but these are all different majors, all different years. They just happen to be at the same place at the same time. So instead of traveling with a group of Baylor students or Baylor faculty, they're just immersed on campus. We're not just letting them go though. We work with our partners at the university. We make sure that they're housed. We make sure that their schedules that they're taking there match what they're taking here. They've got contact with Cody, who you met at the beginning. But these exchange and affiliates are often for students who desire this kind of independent experience, you know. And one cool thing, I suppose I'll talk later about it, but about our office is we've got a tremendous amount of international and intercultural experience in our office. All of us have lived and worked abroad for a huge portion of our life. And we all say, students go for academics, students go for the experience. Well, what you really want is to make friends while you're there. You want to go to Italy and leave Italy knowing that you've got Italian friends, right? So this experience sometimes is more conducive to that because you're arriving independent. You're immersed on campus. You're taking classes with the domestic student population. You are truly immersed, and it's almost impossible not to make friends. Although, I guess if you tried hard, but you wouldn't. So that's what this exchange and affiliate experience is. We send a lot of students. This is predominantly going to be semester and full year programs. There are some summer options, but usually the exchange and the affiliates are the semester and the year-long programs.
We also do have the opportunity for internships abroad, and these can range anywhere from a summer month to a semester abroad as well. We do work with several providers that will, if a marketing student comes to us and says, hey, yeah, I want to do an internship in Prague, that's one of our most popular options. But we do have several countries around the world that we can send students and set them up with internships. And in some cases, there are even paid internships. So my sister was able to get a paid internship in Paris while she was there. So that paid internship paid for all of her weekend traveling money as well. So the parents in the room are probably wondering, I was like, okay, how much is this going to cost?
No, I think the parents don't care, but the students want to know.
I think, yeah, right. Okay, so yeah, since the parents don't care, I'll tell the students. So group semester and faculty-led programs, the way they work is you pay your Baylor tuition plus a small program fee, And that program fee is actually what you would be paying on campus for what you would be paying on campus for housing, for meal plans. Most of the program fees also pay for your transportation over there. So I went on a Baylor in Great Britain program, which is one of the larger programs that we have on campus, and it paid for a Brit Rail pass. So not only did I have my housing taken care of, I had my Brit Rail pass so I could travel anywhere in the UK. It paid for a lot of the meals, a lot of museum entrances, paid for like a couple trips one to Paris and one to Rome. I think there was another trip in there that was offered, but I did not take that one. But yeah, it pays for a lot of the things that you'll be doing while you're on these programs. If you're doing a summer program, it's different from your semester a little bit in that you pay per credit hour rather than the normal flat rate tuition. For semester and affiliate and exchange programs, you pay your Baylor tuition as you would pay it here. And the only difference is that rather than paying that program fee for housing and everything, you pay that housing directly to the university. So, to the university that you're going to. So that actually helps you lower the cost of housing a little bit just by eliminating the middleman.
And the important thing here to remember, like the whole ethos is that it shouldn't cost you more to study abroad than it does to stay here. Because then that makes studying abroad an extracurricular activity. It makes study abroad something not everybody can do, something elite, right? That's not the case. I mean, in ancient times, the early 90s, when I was a student, if you didn't have resources, you couldn't really go abroad, right? But that can't be the case anymore. And I'm real proud of Baylor because Baylor puts a lot of effort into making sure that's the case. So Jorge was talking about like housing for exchange and affiliates, for example. We look at our partners, when we go and we check out our partners and see where we're going to be sending students, if their housing is cheaper than the housing here in Waco, then we have that school charge the student directly, so they pay the lower cost to the host institution. In the few cases where their housing is actually more expensive, some of the places like Australia or London, then what we do is we charge them Baylor housing, same as freshman year you'd pay on campus, and then we have the invoice sent to us. So we make sure if there's savings, it goes to you. But tuition is paid the same, just like you were here, right? Room and board is comparable, just like you are here. The only additional cost would be the airfare, and of course the fact that there are a few more things to do in, say, Europe than in Waco, Texas, so you're probably going to travel and go see stuff. But that airfare is that kind of distinguishing cost, and we try to make sure that we have a lot of scholarships available to students who are looking, specifically study abroad scholarships, who are looking to find ways to supplement that cost. So it truly shouldn't be more expensive to go abroad as it would to stay here, which leads into financial aid. Oh. So with financial aid, every single dollar and dime connected to you as a Baylor student stays connected to you. Every single dollar. And you have opportunities to apply for scholarships and grants and other funding beyond that because you're doing an international experience. We have some Baylor in-house scholarships, but our office helps work with students specifically to find other external scholarships which they could probably use towards their experience, right? So you have all of your dollars, plus you have the opportunity to make more. We do that because what we do is you pay your Baylor tuition here to Baylor, even if you're going to be taking class in Paris. You pay your tuition here, and by paying tuition here, you are in residence. So some of you have talked to your academic advisor, you can only have so many transfer credits, you have to have in-residence hours. The credits you earn on these trips are in-residence hours. So instead of class being in Draper, it just happens to be in Paris, but it's in-residence hours. And that lets us keep all your scholarships, all your grants, all your financial aid attached to you. Everything comes through the Baylor system the same. So this is a unique thing for me working at this school. I haven't seen this at a lot of other schools, and I love it because what we've been able to do is pre-COVID, when a lot of schools were seeing their study abroad participation go down, and they were asking us, how come yours keeps rising? COVID did stop that. But how come yours keeps going up? I truly believe not only do we have the greatest students out there who want this experience, but we also created a model, a process for these students to be able to have this experience without it costing them more than it would to stay here on campus. Sometimes, and you had mentioned summer is usually separate from your 8-term scholarship, but study abroad is not more expensive than doing summer here. So sometimes students will say, but my scholarships don't apply in the summer. They wouldn't if you stayed on campus either. It's basically the same. So studying abroad or on campus, it's the same model. Yeah, I think I covered that. Anything else?
I will add that, and Bobby mentioned it a little bit with the housing as well. So, and I already brought up my sister that studied in Paris. So when she came back, she actually did, because my sister also loves spreadsheets as much as I do, she put everything on a spreadsheet that she had spent the entire semester while she was in Paris, and then compared it to a normal semester that she would spend here in Waco. And it actually turned out that Paris was cheaper than Waco, Texas,
Yeah.
which is bizarre. So, yes.
And it was an impressive spreadsheet, so I hired her, and she worked in our office until she graduated. Yeah.
So as far as safety and security, Baylor has had one of the most rigid safety and security protocols for study abroad. We have a guy, his name is Jared. He's an ex-Marine that wishes he could do ex-Marine things. So if there is anything that happens, he is ready to parachute into the Champs-Élysées in Paris and rescue any student from whatever. He's very eager to do that, but unfortunately for Jared, that doesn't happen very often. Yeah. So, we actually meet every single week during the academic year whenever we have students abroad. During COVID, we've been meeting every other week. And pretty much what we do is we actually talk about what is going on in any country any country in the world, what countries are safe to go to, which ones are not. We look at COVID, we look at geopolitical, literally every single issue in the world that is going on. We look at it to see if it's safe to send students there. And Jared does meet with people from like the Department of Defense, with the Department of State, so everywhere, try to get this information to us. On top of that, we actually do also give students a little like business card thing that we actually give them like 2 or 3 because from my experiences, I lost it. So you give them 2 or 3 just in case they lose it. But these cards have a phone number on the back, actually 2 phone numbers. One of them is to a Baylor person. So whatever happens, whatever country they're in, whatever time zone they're in, they can call and contact somebody at Baylor, and we will be able to do anything we can to help them.
And usually the phone call it's not what you'd think. Our students are not having big emergencies. It's, I got a cold and I went to the doctor and nobody speaks English, so I need a translator. Or I'm in this part of town right now and I need to get back to my room, but it doesn't look like there are any taxis. I mean, they can actually contact, you've got a live person who can help you right there. There's an app. When I was in Santiago, I was supposed to be testing the emergency function, so you hit a button on the app, it goes to the emergency services, Jared here. So I would walk around the streets and I'd hit that emergency button to test it out, and I'd write in, I need coffee. And he would respond to me right away, and he'd say, there's a Starbucks a block down on your left, stop playing with the app. So the function, unlike when I was a student, the tools at your disposal are amazing right now, truly amazing. So even when you're out there traveling and seeing things, you are not alone. You have these phenomenal resources available to you, and we give them to you and we teach you how to use them before you go abroad. And 95% of our students, probably more, never use them. But it's good to have it and know that it's there.
And the same thing goes with our insurance as well. We have a program that goes to an archaeological dig in a small town north of Rome, and a student, one of my former students, actually fell and broke his arm in 2 places. So the first thing he did was he pulled out this little card. He actually fell into a Roman ruin. So yeah, so he broke his arm in 2 places, and he pulled out this little card, and that card connected him to our insurance provider, who told him, okay, go to this hospital over here. The program director and faculty members took him to the hospital. Everything was settled with our insurance provider as well. So yeah.
And we go to all the safe places. If it is somewhere questionable, like Missions wants to go somewhere questionable, then we send Jared. He likes that stuff.
So as far as COVID, we are planning to go back to full scale starting this fall. So we actually have, I have 15 students going to St. Andrews University. Cody has another about 50 or 60 students going to various programs, on exchange programs throughout the world. So we're actually looking to go back full scale starting this fall. We're meeting every single week, looking at data for how countries are doing as far as COVID and how we can continue to send our students safely. But we are meeting regularly. We're looking at every single country that we're going to or planning on going to. And hopefully we're back on full track hopefully by this fall as well. So,
if anything at all good came out of COVID, and I don't think much did, it's the fact that for our industry, it forced everybody to really be on top of their procedures, their protocols. We had to make a lot of quick adjustments when students were abroad, when they were getting ready to go abroad. Students who even now are getting ready to go abroad, but certain visas haven't been allowed yet. I mean, while all this stuff is happening, it really did force us to relook at everything very, very closely. And I'd say we're more efficient, more informed, and we run better now than we ever have. But we ran great before, but better now.
And to that, I will add that. So on March 13th of last year was when we decided to cancel everything and bring every single student that we had out of the country back. So March 13th was the day that we brought everybody back. By March 15th, we had already refunded every single student's deposit that had already paid that was planning on going in the summer or fall. And we had already brought every one of the 72 students that were brought back. So within 48 hours, every single student that we had out of the country was back in the U.S.
So there are a couple programs that I do want to introduce now, because you will study abroad after your freshman year is completed, but there are ways to get directly involved now. And we really encourage you, especially you, if you're in this room, you have global interests. Am I in the echo spot? Anyway, so the Global Friendship Program is a phenomenal program where you can come in as a freshman, you can sign up, and you get partnered with one of the incoming international or exchange students who's coming to Baylor. You take them to a football game, show them a little bit about what it's like here. The international students, when they come in, they love celebrating Halloween or other things that they might not have celebrated at home. So you connect with those students. You get, because you're connected to them, you get access to all of the Center for Global Engagement events, all of our tailgate parties, all of that stuff. It's a worthwhile experience for everybody all the time. I can't speak enough about it, because especially when you go abroad, you'll realize how difficult it is when you show up to class in Italy and you sit down and you're so excited to be there and you have no idea how to access the social networks around you, the people around you. How do I make friends in the 4 months that I'm here? That's difficult. So you get to make that easier for some of the students coming in. Another benefit is when you sign up for the program, if you say, write down, I'm going to be an Italian minor, I want to go to Italy, I want to join this program, you will probably get partnered with one of the students coming from one of our exchange programs in Italy. And what we see happen a lot is that student arrives, just scoop them up, take them to a football game, introduce them to your friends, have a great semester, they fall in love with Baylor, you fall in love with the friendship, and then they leave and there's some tears and they go home. And then the next semester, you fly out there, and they're picking you up from the airport and introducing you to their family and their friends and their experience there. And it goes back and forth. And while you're there, you'll meet a student. They'll say, I want to introduce you to somebody who's going to Baylor next semester. And you'll say, oh, you'll love it. I'll pick you up from the airport. Let me know when you fly in. So it's very, very worthwhile. And this Global Friendship Program, you can sign up anytime, but it is pretty popular. So we encourage you to sign up early. You can go online, fill out your application. They usually start making assignments at the end of August or early September. If there are extras, they'll do a second calling later, but it's important to get in there at the front line. When they run out of students, they'll still keep your application for the following term, but the earlier you apply, the better chance you have getting partnered up with someone. And we have a lot of early semester events, so if you're wondering, well, what am I going to do with this person? We have a lot of events that bring you in those first few times where you can socialize and meet some of the other students and gather. The second program I want to talk about is the Certificate in Global Engagement. This program launched in 2018, so it's still pretty fresh. This program was designed to give students like you, students who are studying abroad, getting involved in multicultural organizations on campus, students who are doing mission trips, studying languages, taking intercultural competency courses, students who are just globally or interculturally interested in the world, right? You guys. So students would do this stuff year after year after year, and after a while we were getting feedback from students saying, I wish there was something I could do to show, God bless you, something I could show that said, I participated in this stuff. So Baylor created this global certificate. Students can finish it in 2 or 3 years if they work hard, but it is for the time that you're here. And the best thing is, and I won't bore you with all the details, you can find it online or come see us at the table after this at Connect, Baylor Connect? Campus Connection, that's it. We can give you more information, but once you complete the certificate and graduate, it will give you cords that you can wear. It will give you a certificate signed by the president. These are both great things, but I always kind of say, well, how is that really helpful? The most important thing is it's transcripted. So on your official transcripts, when you get your diploma, you also have it saying you've completed this curricular certificate in global engagement. So now when you're applying to jobs or grad school or whatever you're doing, once you graduate from here, and I promise you will have something you can point to indicate a credential beyond just the diploma, right? Something that you did while you were here that complements your degree plan. Every major can do this. So we encourage you strongly to get involved with that program. You can find out a lot more. Do you want to talk about missions?
Sure. So another option that we do have, and it's something that we love to mention, but it's not through our office, is Baylor Missions. So Baylor Missions, they have about 40 to 50 different programs that, just like a lot of our study abroad programs, can range from very specific to programs for engineering students or education students to very broad students or very broad tracks. But they are short programs, non-credit bearing, so there's no classes associated with it. But it's for students that do want to kind of do service anywhere around the world, and kind of can still get that engagement that they would through study abroad. The way that these missions work, and I actually have led one of the programs for, I was supposed to lead it for a second year this year, but it did not happen. But the way they work is it's a faculty member that does want to kind of coordinate this for students, and it's more of a pay-as-you-go type program, so kind of like how churches will do fundraising. So it's quite a financially viable option for a lot of students just to be able to go and get that experience. Just like study abroad, there's no limit on how many times you can go. Last year when I led the Baylor Education in Costa Rica program, I had 2 students that had been on the program for 3 years already. So there's no limit on how many you can go to. If you wanted to do study abroad missions and more study abroad and then more missions, that's absolutely possible. So as far as what to do next, so you're already doing part 1, which is start thinking about study abroad. So the first thing you'll want to do when you get to campus in August is attend one of our info sessions. And those info sessions are a requirement to set up a meeting with one of our advisors, so either with myself or with Cody, who was here at the beginning. You will need to attend an info session. And that info session is kind of just a small orientation of all the steps, so you know part A, part B, part C, every form that you're going to have to complete, every part of the process for whatever university or program you're trying to apply to. Those will be offered on Mondays and Tuesdays at 4 p.m. in Hancomer 160, which is where our office is. The next thing is look through our program list. We do have, as the country list showed, we have a lot of countries, we have a lot of programs. I think this year we just hit about 115 different types of programs that we have, whether they are summer or exchange or affiliate or anything. So look through all of our programs, see if there's anything that applies to your major, applies to the country that you're trying to go to, or even just as general as whatever region. But yeah, look through what we have to offer. We have a lot. The next thing is, I'm going to lump 4 and 5 together. It's talk to your academic advisor and then talk to study abroad. We're both advisors, but we're not in the same office, we're not in the same building, we don't look at the same things. So tell your academic advisor, like, hey, I want to study abroad, and tell them early so they can start planning for your academic career later on as well. It's kind of hard to plan for a study abroad program when you tell them the summer before your junior or before your senior year. So the earlier the better. But tell your academic advisor, they know your major, they know what programs, because they've been working with hundreds of students in the past, they know what programs will work for you and for your major, so they might even help you guide that a little bit. Come see us and we'll do the same thing. We'll tell you which programs might work for your major. We'll look at regions. If you have no idea, set up a meeting with us anyway and we'll kind of help you narrow it down a little bit. But yeah, come see us early and come see us often, because I usually like to tell people that the last thing we can do at the last minute is get you on another flight, get you on another program, get you admitted to a university somewhere in Korea or Scotland. And the last thing we can do is get more money in scholarships. So come see us early, come see us often. Whenever you get to campus in August, come set up an appointment. I think all of you got that little flyer with the 2 QR codes on there. So if you forget anything, the first QR code is actually the slides. So I saw a lot of people taking pictures of those slides. But the second one is a link to our appointments or appointment scheduler. So if you just wanted to set up an appointment for as early as next Monday, you can use that QR code and set up an advising appointment, and we can kind of start guiding you through that process. And then number 6 is, we've already mentioned, look for scholarships, because the last thing we can do is get more scholarships. And yeah.
Here is entirely too much information for you to memorize. Those are all of us. But I would finish this with 2 thoughts that I think are important to point out. One of the things that we face a lot when we talk to students is they're concerned about the social costs. They don't want to miss football season, right? I'm only going to be here for 4 years. I don't want to miss time here, and I absolutely get that. 100% I get that. But I always remind students that, and it's hard to believe, but you will graduate, life will move on. It happens. And when you do, you'll think back to college as when I was in college. That's how you'll refer to it. You won't ever say in spring of 22, this happened, right? You'll say when I was in college, this happened. But 4 months in Italy, or Hong Kong, or South Korea, or Paris, a semester abroad, a trip abroad, you'll never refer to that as when I was in college. You'll always refer to that as when I was in Italy. It is a powerful standalone experience that you should definitely take advantage of while you're here. So keep that in mind. And the second thing is, like I said, it's hard to believe where you're sitting, but the time goes by really fast now that you're getting older. My grandpa used to say, the days are longer, but the years are shorter, which is true. And time's gonna fly by. At no point in your life after you graduate, you graduate, you get a job, maybe you start a family, at no point in your life are you gonna be able to say, I wanna go to Russia for 6 months and have it be easier than it is now. If I went home today and told my wife, I wanna go to Russia, well, she might say yes, take the boys and go. But chances are, life will make it a lot harder to do that. Right now you have this opportunity, and you owe it to yourself to explore it fully. Because these opportunities, the study abroad that Baylor offers, is part of being a Baylor student. It's a gym membership that you've already paid for. So you owe it to yourself to come and talk to us, find a plan, see what might work, and then go from there. Yep. So after this, at 4 o'clock, we are in Barfield Drawing Room. We're going to have a table at Baylor Connect Campus Connections, the connected campuses. It's over in Barfield Drawing Room. We'll be set up. Some of our colleagues will be there as well to talk about the programs. We'll be there to answer questions, but you've got our contact information. Like Jorge said, you can scan this QR code, reach out to us anytime. We'll be happy to answer your questions. But that's it. You are free. I don't know how free you want to be. It's air conditioned in here now, but